Okay, so let's look at sound. You'll see the sound recording here. If you haven't got a tick, just simply click on this and it will turn your sound recording on. If you click to the side here, you can check that you are using the right link or the right actual media or the right hardware to do your recording. I'm using my Plantronics audio, so I'm clicked onto that one there. And also you can go to your options, and there are various options here. Now a lot of these options are not things that I generally play around with. All I try to do is to make sure that I get the right setting here on the volume. And you can notice actually that I've got my webcam on, which I will turn off in a minute because I really don't want to use a webcam for this particular recording, so I shouldn't really have that on. You can also look at your various options in terms of not just the audio but in terms of the actual video settings as well, and that includes from here you can set the frame rate, which is set at a kind of standard 15. If you really want to increase the quality of your recording, then you can take the frame rate up, and that means that you're simply showing more frames per second, and therefore the quality. I generally keep these to the default settings, but I do try to make sure that certainly with the recording that I'm not going into the red area when you're doing a recording. And you'll probably notice if you listen to a lot of my early recordings in Camtasia that in fact I did do that quite a lot, and that was partly because I had a very cheap microphone initially and I was pushing the microphone level too high. So I would recommend that you keep the recording level within the kind of safe range, and obviously the better your particularly if you've got a USB microphone, you'll find that the quality of the recording is a lot better. Now the other thing is, and you can go to the audio settings here as well, there's lots of debate about this. Now I have to say, if we look at the audio settings that are currently here, these would probably be generally, they're a little bit, possibly a little bit high. When you're using the internet, you've got them set to stereo, you've got them set to 24 kilohertz. Now this is to do really with the whole quality of both the in terms of the audio, in terms of the different pitches that will be received and recorded and at what quality they will be recorded. But remember, the higher the quality, the bigger the file size will be. Now again, if we were to look up along here, we'll see that there's plenty of other frequencies and levels, and you may want to muck around with that. Remember that as you reduce it down, it's going to affect the quality of the sound. This isn't the highest one. There are, for example, at 32, but you may decide, for example, to put it down to something like 22, or even to reduce it slightly. I'll leave you to make that decision. All the point I'm trying to make to you here is that, particularly, for example, when you work in stereo, you're getting two channels of sound, and that therefore means straight away that it's going to be double the size than if you were to use, for example, a mono recording. And also, again, if you were to go for 16 bits, as I'm doing here, or whether you want to go to 8-bit. The only thing I can suggest you do is to test it. There's really nothing else that you can do there. I'm just going to close that, and again, you may decide to just leave it on the default settings. I'm not going to use my webcam. I've got it set on at the moment, and I'm going to click on OK here and come back, but what I'm going to do is make sure that I've got my webcam set to off, which it is at the moment, because I'm not going to use my webcam for this recording, so that's important. So those are some of the settings on the voice. I could possibly get away with moving my voice just slightly up here if I wanted to. It would still be safe because it looks like it's not within the red range. If you start putting the voice right up, then it could affect the quality.